last weekend I went out. It's like, why did I go out? It makes me think about it, right?
Yeah.
And because then it's not just health, then it's financial, it's all these sort of things. Because some guys are going out spending crazy amounts of money every weekend, but for what reason? Maybe it's because they're lost. Like you said, they're what's the phrase? I'm trying to use the phrases that you use. Like they're self-harming themselves. Like
Self-destructive.
Self-destructive. It's like, if you really think about the purpose to your choices, and I think most people don't, they just drift through life. And if you give them that, you identify this as a problem, like, okay, no problem going out. I like going out and having a good time and being an idiot. I love it. So, but what's the purpose of it? For me, most of the time, fortunately for me, it's very explorative or whatever. Exploration, because it'll be like client meetings or meeting people in my network, or it'll be networking. There's purpose to it. I'm not just I don't really go out just to go out anymore. Happens every now and then, maybe when I'm that stressed or whatever you said. And now I'd reevaluate that. But I'm going through a stage in my life now where I'm thinking about, I was teetotal during my fighting days for quite a few years. And I'm gonna go back to that, I think, and reevaluate why I'm going out and what I'm doing it for. And it was a lot of exploration, because my identity had completely changed from being a fighter who needed to be teetotal because of my profession, to be in I last 3 years of my life, if you follow me, you would have seen I've been all over the world, enjoying myself, partying here and there, hanging out with cool people, living the life. But I've done a lot of that now, and now why am I doing it? Like I was doing it before because it was like FOMO almost. I feel like I'd missed out.
And it helped you, like as you said, network to get to the level of profession that you wanted, to network, to have the right people around you to do all of that. But then it's like, I've done it. It's in the bank. It's stable. Now what? Focus on yourself, the physique. And I think, what you said about identity shifts, bang on the money, because especially like what we were talking about around that 30 to 35, there is that pressure to have your shit together, right? Because you want your future to be secure for yourself, for your family. And as that gets bigger, it's like, when we go back to understanding meaning behind why maybe you're going out, it goes back to something I say with my clients, with the purpose of having a weekly check-in, accountability, structure, planning, anchor points in your week to be able to reflect on your thought processes, your actions, why you actually do stuff. Because most people just are on autopilot with habits they've built over years and years and years and years. But when you actually just draw attention to whether it's a self-destructive habit, whether it's a positive habit, okay, what's the meaning behind why you're doing this? When you can unpack that and make sense of something, it becomes so easy to change it, because you're almost breaking the cycle of the subconscious and you're putting conscious effort into, okay, well, can we structure your week around stuff? So using the weekend thing as an example again, if a guy is constantly tripping himself up in my program with drinks every weekend, I'm like, cool, right, your accountability this week for a check-in is to now go and make plans that don't revolve around meeting X, Y, and Z for a little bit, until you can get a handle on it, build some momentum with it, and bring it back in as a exploration, not an escapism, all that kind of stuff, makes such a difference. But having that purpose and the structure to be able to reflect, to be able to, and again, some people will be like, oh, that's woo-woo. It's not. It's having an understanding of yourself, your own actions, and that gives you power, gives you leadership over your own life. And it's about how you frame it, because when you think about how everyone operates, it comes down to status. And it's like, okay, well, creating that identity shift in, say, 30 to 35, 35 to 40, it's like, get clear on how do I frame this? What standards, what characteristics, what behaviors does the person that you want to be look like? Then you can reverse engineer it, architect the environment, architect your circles, change things, change your habits, structure your week, so that eventually, again, I use this term a lot in our client community, you want where you're spending most of your time, the people you're spending your time with, you want the desired behavior to be the normal behavior. So if you can get clear on what that is in terms of an identity shift, you can create that, reverse engineer it, put yourself in the right circles, whether it's a mentorship, whether it's a sports team, getting back into sport, a CrossFit class. That desired behavior is the normal behavior. It becomes so much easier to create the change, and the identity will follow as part of doing that.
Yeah, I think you break that down brilliantly, but I think you're basically talking about the people that you surround yourself with, and the circle that you're in are the people that you want to be like.
Cliche as it is, your network, your net worth.
Exactly, all that stuff. But it's like, if you're spending time with people that make loads of money, then making loads of money is normal. Yeah. If you spend time with loads of people with six packs, then having a six pack's normal.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
But they have to have the foundation and the effort, the things to do the things to give them those. So if you hang out with people with loads of money have to work. So you know, we've got a couple of friends here in Marbella that live together. And whenever you go around, they have like a table there. They all sit around the table on laptops together, like working all day. And I'm just like, it's a great environment for people that want to get on with their you know, want to work, want to make money. But if you go around another friend's house, they're sitting on the sofa watching Netflix.
Playing Xbox.
Exactly. That's not gonna be the environment you want to be around. So it's like they talk about you being the mean of the 5 people you spend the most time with. All that. It's so true, unbelievably true. And I think it breaks down pretty simple. You broke it down very, very, you know, like in depth. But what I noticed with it, or what I talk to a lot of people about, is like you need to identify the problems first. That's the struggle. So you asking me that question, are you escaping or exploring? Like that, just asking that question is like an identification. So you need to identify what the problem is. You then need to analyze that, how you solve that problem, and then you need to execute the thing. So you have to like identify what it is, analyze how you can make it better. Like you just said, maybe I change my circle, maybe I go to a different place, maybe I set up whatever, and then you need to actually do it, which is the bit that probably 90% of people struggle with.
Like accountability.
Yeah, and that's the lack of accountability, and that's the lack of having the people in your circle or a mentor or a coach or whatever it is checking in with you every week and saying, listen, bro, did you get that thing done? Yeah, I was gonna, but I, you know, and then excuse. We just had coffee downstairs with someone that was on the podcast, Dan Chapman, who's a world champion bare knuckle boxer, extremely talented kid.
Yeah.
And we were talking to him about, which we'll talk about with you now, like starting online businesses and how that can, you know, really change your life and give you freedom and all those sort of things. And I said, oh, Dan, why didn't you do it? And he just went off on all of these reasons why he couldn't do it. And I was just like, listen, bro, that is bullshit. Absolute bullshit. You're lying to yourself. They are excuses. And he was like, oh, you're right.
You're right. Yeah.
And I think, how have you found, like, obviously, coming from the beginning of your journey to now being online and working online with clients and having your community and getting people together for your meetups and all that sort of stuff. What I believe about online business, and I like to talk about it a lot on the podcast, and I know you deal with it a lot, so that's why I wanted to bring you on, is it gives you a limitless like expanse of clients that you can obtain, and it gives you much more freedom in your life.